places. It's hard to carry on when you feel all alone. Now I've swung back down again. It's worse than it was before. If I hadn't seen such relief with me before, I'll sit down, I'll sit down, I'll sit down, sit down next to me. Sit down, 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 with sympathy.
Evening, everyone. Evening. I mean, what a panel we got here tonight. You know, you don't get it much better than this. We have, of course, Matty. How you doing, Matty?
Doing good, brothers. Glad to be here, man, with this star-studded panel. Good to see the brother John, Northside, Kenny. Always good to see you, and as you too, Jez. Always good to be amongst the good brethren.
Cheers, man. John, second time on my channel. Thank you for coming back, mate. You're more than welcome, and you know, you are, well, yeah, you're the only Newcastle channel I do actually watch. But how you doing, bro?
Thanks for that, on. Cheers, absolutely fantastic. Even to Matty, Killikin, our Ledge, and Northside for the first time, and absolutely champion. And I got back from Blackburn today, and it's fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Kenny Ken. Always my weekly compadre on the Wednesday night chat show. How you doing, man?
I put myself on mute. All good. You know, it was nice to, you know, watch that performance on Saturday. Sorry, John, but, you know, it was improvement from last Wednesday. But, you know, the FA Cup, some special competition. Newcastle, congratulations on getting through. You know, they let's just say Depravka was off his line for the last penalty.
Wow.
He was. I've seen it.
He did mind. He did.
Yeah, that's fact. That is fact. Northside, mate, good to have you on again. Your channel's cooking. Absolute quality content you're doing right now, my friend. I know you're not feeling very well, so bail when you've got to go, bro. But thanks for coming back on, as always. And yeah, shout yourself out, man.
No, thank you for having me. Big up to the panel. Big up to everyone. Love for having me, Jez. And yeah, man, not feeling a little bit under the weather, but happy that we got the 3 points against Newcastle. Sorry about that, mate. But you know, it's what it is. Sorry about that. At least your fans ain't crying about VAR pundits and referees and all of that. You know what I mean?
Or discuss.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man. Big up to everyone. Big up to you, Jez. And yeah, man. Look forward to the show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. We're not going to crucify John too much because that's unkind. But John.
Yeah.
The game at the weekend, man. I mean, I was expecting so much more from Newcastle. You just didn't turn up. I mean, he just didn't even literally get off the bus. I mean, it was a shocking display, wasn't it?
I think the players are still stuck in Newcastle, to be honest with you, arriving late. I mean, to be honest with you, Jess, I mean, I've got, you know, no complaints. Also, a better team. I didn't expect us to get anything, to be honest with you. But for the first whistle, I look at that team and it didn't look right for me at all whatsoever. He looked absolutely scared. He's in the corner after, 40 seconds or something, right? And I tell you what, I mean, they were really up for it. I mean, the players looked lost. Our midfield looked weak. We're badly missing Joel Linton. I can't lie. Sven Botman is not the same player because he's carrying an injury. Yeah, they targeted him. I think Eddie Howe did the right thing, bringing on Livramento and dropped down Burn because he had a minute left back. But once the first goal went in, I think it's just a question of how many. Because I thought if it hadn't been for Karius, it would have been a lot more. But I mean, Kieran Trippier, I love Kieran Trippier. I can't lie. But where was he? Where was his forward runs? I didn't see it. I mean, Martinelli had it on tours every single time. And even 29 had a bloody good game. That's the best I've seen. But listen, at the end of the day, I mean, we see the poor goals, 2 set pieces. I mean, Saka's goal was quality, but he had to question Livramento. And I thought Fabian Schär, and staying bottom in the back were awful, absolutely awful. Bruno, I expected more from him. He was disappointed, but other than that, Jez, got no complaints. Well done, Arsenal. And you know what? Let's hope you win the thing. Let's hope you believe in the title.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something we're going to talk about in a little bit. Matty, I mean, it was great 3 points again. Another 4-0. You know, we're ripping it up right now. But this is going to lead us on to other things in a minute. Give me your breakdown. What do you think about that game, mate?
It was more of the same that we've seen in the Premier League before we went out for European duty. I mean, it's kind of, it makes me wonder why did we change for the Porto game? You know, because I mean, we came out like a house on fire. Also, you know, you look at Newcastle, and you know they've been dealing with their own problems or what have you, but we went ahead and got the business done early, which is one of the things that I know for a fact me, you, and Kenny and Northside have been calling for, is to get these teams dusted and out of the way so that we can move on, you know, to other things. We've got to have this mentality for the rest of the season, like we did against Newcastle. The players look good. Raya looked good. You know you had 29. I have. I'm sure we'll talk about it later on, but I have my theory on a couple of these players, why they're looking so good. I know I have to go back and rewatch these games because we've been doing so well. Like I'm trying to break down what we've been doing the last couple of games, and I think that the manager he got it well. You know, but there is one negative in that, Jez. There's one negative in this game, and I'm gonna hammer on this negative. If nobody else won't do it, I'll do it. Nketiah needs to go. He has to go.
Absolutely.
He has to go, brother. I looked at that game. Another 20 minutes allotted on the pitch, and what did you see?
Nothing.
An absolute fool.
Yeah.
Absolute fool. And I hate to be harsh like that, but it has to be said because this gentleman has been given time after time after time after time, and he cannot find the back of the net. Now, whether he score a goal in the next several games, that remains to be seen. But I can tell you this, based off of what we've seen the last several, I don't know if it's coming, brother. I would not put my mortgage on him scoring for this year against a team that's meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't even score against teams like Newcastle, the teams we're blowing out. That's the concerning thing. Is we're blowing out teams and he still can't score. You know, he even cost Emmitt Smith-Rowe a goal this weekend, and so that has to be brought up. Other than that, man, it was an A1 performance for me. I just wish we would continue this same mentality into Europe. And I know there's different thoughts of competition, but at least we could go out and I would like to see that same type energy on display against Porto when we play them in a couple of weeks. But for me, the game was a masterpiece, and I'm satisfied. You know, whenever you see me this relaxed, that means we've done what we're supposed to do.
Facts. North side. I mean, it's another 3 points, 4 goals in the bag, but great point, mate. Come on, Nketiah. Come on. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, this guy is rubbish. He's got to go, man, isn't he?
Yeah, another game we win despite having a bench that's ineffective. We've been winning games despite having a bench that doesn't offer anything. We've been winning games despite the fact that Havertz isn't that great. Let's keep it real. He scored a goal. There was a couple of chances he had, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He misses, So we're winning games despite of the majority of the time carrying Kai Havertz. We're winning games despite the fact that we have a bench that don't offer us anything. And you get a lot more out of a team when you've got 2 creative players. A lot of times we've got Odegaard, that's our sole creator. Against Porto, we saw that, you nullify Odegaard, there's no creativity. A lot of other teams get bashed for that. Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. A lot of people say, oh, you nullify Trent, you nullify their creativity. At Arsenal, you nullify Odegaard, you nullify our creativity. But we also got Jorginho. So why can't Jorginho play more games? I think he absolutely ran the show against Newcastle.
Yeah.
We should be playing both of those players because we know certain situations where Odegaard gets nullified. I don't even think Newcastle really bullied him that much. I just think he had a trash game. A lot of times Odegaard can't play through the press. But then if you got a deep line playmaker like Jorginho, he could just dictate play. I think he was the man of the match. I think he played absolutely excellently. And he was at the forefront of everything that we done excellently. So Jorginho needs to start going forward. I think I was a little bit underwhelmed with Declan Rice. I think he had the reins to go forward and show us what he can do creatively. I didn't see as much. I still think our most creative defensive midfielder is still Thomas Partey. I think he's got long range passing that Rice doesn't. Even though I do think Rice is a great at taking set pieces. I don't know why previous games he was taking off the corners and free kicks. But overall, we played very, very well. Saka took his goal very, very well. Literally left Livramento on his ass, and he created that chance for himself. Overall, I think we played very, very well. I think we were very solid. Newcastle, I thought, would take a leaf out the book of Porto and try to be aggressive and try to come at us and be, take the game to us and be rigid at the back. They didn't offer anything. They didn't take any of the lessons that Porto gave them. So it is what it is. I think we played very, very well, though. I think Arsenal, this is a team that if you let us play our football, we're very dangerous. We're very dangerous. The problem is, once the system isn't working, what's the plan B? Once teams do the dark arts and we have to rely on the bench, who do you rely on? You've mentioned Nketiah. He's not a player that you can rely on. Even ESR, he had a decent run, but you can't rely on him to score goals or assists. So that's really the problem, is that when games when the starting 11 doesn't do the job, and now you're looking at what's plan B. There is no plan B, and there's not a bench that can help you have a plan B. And this was all down to this manager not addressing things that we needed strengthening in. So it is what it is. I mean, we played well against Newcastle. I'm just concerned going forward as to how we're going to deal with low blocks and teams that are going to play the dark arts. What's this manager going to do? Because he looked lost against Porto. You know what I mean? So those are the times when the manager needs to earn his money is the time a lot of times he falls flat on his ass. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a point. I'm just going to Longhead Yetis Gay. Big up, Jezza Panel. Good luck in your FA Cup match tonight. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Thanks for that, Yeti. Yeah, taking the piss as usual. Yeah. Good luck in yours as well, Kenny. It was, a great game. You were there with John. John was there at the Emirates that night. And big respect. I'm just going to say to you, John, big respect to you guys, the Newcastle fan base, for making that journey for an 8 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday night. I mean, that's a bloody nightmare. Fair play to you boys for doing that. Big respect.
Thank you for that.
Cheers, you know something? We're gonna have to get used to that. The only reason why we don't have 8 o'clock kickoffs in this country is because of maybe there's got to be some sort of deal with the terrestrial channels, because Saturdays are meant to be like the night of back in the day in the 70s and 80s. Saturday was the time when you sat in and watched TV, and they used to have about 20+ million viewers watching the TV from about 5 o'clock up to about 9 o'clock on both the channels. And I think they still have their variety programs on, which they don't want to sort of have the football. But in Spain, 8 o'clock kickoffs on a Saturday and a Sunday. Italy, the same. France, the same. Eventually, we're going to have to sit. We've got to accept that a lot of our cousins abroad, can you imagine if you live in New York City and you've got an 8 o'clock kickoff? That's a 3 p.m. kickoff in New York City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that remember, we are charging millions and millions of pounds to have TV companies abroad. Premiership is a product, so eventually there are going to be a situation where we could have those kickoffs. We've got a big fish on Sunday, Arsenal versus Liverpool. There'll be more big fishes. We've already had Man United playing on them at 8 o'clock various times. It's going to happen. It's one of the things where they're going to sneak the odd one here there, and then, you know, maybe in a couple of years we'll just get used to it and it'll just become the norm, I suppose. But in terms of like the performance, I thought was, you know, it's a continuation of our excellent performances since we come back from, you know, Dubai. You know, the way Newcastle, no disrespect, Newcastle, with there's a lot of players that shocked me. You know, I was warned that Amaran's off form. I was warned that, you know, Amaran. I was warned that Isak wasn't going to be fully fit. I was warned that Gimenez is inconsistent, and I didn't believe it for 1 minute. And then what I saw, I just thought, yeah, Newcastle this season struggle against teams that play a high tempo of football and play a high press. Spurs done them, Liverpool done them, and we played the same way and done them. And that's something they were able to cope with last season. But this season, too many players have lost form. I don't know whether it's, you know, he's playing 2 games a week, you know, before Christmas because of the Champions League, and then also in the League Cup. Maybe the amount of games they played, and the fact that, you know, they haven't got players like Tonioli to use because he decided to put on too many bets. Either way, this Arsenal team is built for the league, not built for the Champions League. It's built for the league. Kivior looks $1 million in the league because team, you know, he has direct one-on-one contact. You know what I mean? Where basically they're just trying to attack him. He makes his tackles. He comes up. He comes for set pieces. Simple. That's what he's been built for. In Europe, against Porto, he was struggling because, you know, it's a bit different there. You know, they play a kind of a tempo that starts off very slow and gets quick in the last third. He can't cope with that. You know, so, you know, and the same with the, you know, certain players as well in the whole tempo. We're not good when we play that kind of European control style where we have to sort of like develop from playing the slow build up and then getting quicker in the last third. We're not good at that. This yet. We'll get better, but not yet. And I think this team's priority is probably the league. That's why you are going to see better performance in the league. And anyway, I do think there's better teams in Europe than us, and that's why I think we'll struggle. But really, really happy. Yeah, I second what Northside said about you know, Odegaard having a quietish game, and also about Jorginho as well having to start big games. I was astonished he didn't start last Wednesday. But one thing with Jorginho, I don't think you're going to see him in every game during the running because of the way we play. You're going to see horse of course. There's going to be times where he will play the big games and he'll be left out, and then Trossard may come in, may come in from the bench, or Kluivert might, you know, like I said, might go further forward. That's when you're going to see Trossard. See Jorginho, mainly because Jorginho's I don't know, it's the age thing or the tempo thing. So, you know, we have got a player in there. Another thing with as well, Zinchenko, he may come back into you know, certain games, especially at home. So we do have that kind of option. But other players, Eddie Nketiah, I said it yesterday when I was on Dan's show. You know, I always smile when we finally seen the light about this guy. I don't want him anywhere near the squad. The quality of football goes down at least 30% when he comes on. And I'm being generous. He's so bad. He's so bad. You know, he's not on the level of the first 11. You know, Smith Rowe, you know, he's not up for the pace. I'll sell him at the end of the season, but he can do us the odd job here and there, and then that's about it. I do worry that our bench, when the players get tired, and they're going to get tired, especially if you play this high tempo, I think that they could be a difference in certain games where, you know, where there's not going to be much quality come from them, and that may cost us the league. But if we're allowed to play the way we're playing right now, we've got a very, very good chance. But the problem is we've got to sleep with one eye open, because I don't see Man City and Liverpool dropping points. You know, all these people are hoping that Liverpool are going to have one injury after another. I'm convinced that Salah and Nunez are going to come back pretty quickly. So Slobosai, so they're going to get, you know, more players coming back, and I do expect them to win those games anyway. I bet them beat Forest and win their games. I bet Man City win the game. So, as much as people think we're playing the best football, we're still third.
Yeah, I mean, that is the point, right? This leads me on. And I could come to you, John, on this, right? Okay. We'll move on now. We talked about that game and everything, right? At the moment, as we sit, it's very tight at the top of the Premier League. We've got Liverpool on 60 points, Man City on 59, Arsenal 58, Villa on 52, Spurs on 47. Well, they've got a game in hand, right? Newcastle, I mean, are you a little bit disappointed that you haven't kicked on this season?
If I'm honest with you, I mean a little bit because we already got in the Champions League, and I thought in the summer I expect us to get 3 more quality players in and beef up the squad. But we've got a big squad, but some of the players, Jez, are not good enough. Yeah, I mean you got players like Jamal Lascelles, Matt Ritchie, Paul Dummett, Sean Longstaff, Jeff Henrik. They need to get away. We should have gotten real quality into the team. But in my honest opinion, I think we jumped 3 steps forward and kind of like 1 back because I think we overachieved. Eddie Howe overachieved getting into Champions League. I didn't expect us to get Champions League. It's great to be in there, but we got there, right? But I think we got there too early and then we got absolutely stuck. We haven't really got a big enough depth squad. We need to buy more players in, and this is why we have lots of injuries. That is a problem. For me,
oh, we lost John. He'll be back in a moment. North side, I'll come to you on that until John comes back. You know, it's tight at the top, man. You know, Liverpool 60, Man City 59, Arsenal 58. I'll slightly change this. We can't afford to slip up, can we?
No, we can't. We can't. Listen, we still got a chance, Shez. Mathematically, we're still in there, and we just got to make sure that we're winning our games. And to be fair to the team, we're winning our games. You know, we had to win against Newcastle. We did. They showed some bottle as well against Liverpool. We did. We won that game. Do you know what I mean? And every time we're coming up against these games where either we win or we're out of the title race, they're not crumbling at the moment. And, you know, I will give Arteta some props for that. You know, even though I feel like he's let himself a little bit short in terms of the squad, with what he's doing with the squad in the league, he's doing very well. We're not only just beating teams, we're putting them to the sword. And I think the changes that he's making as well are working. When he put Trossard through the middle, Trossard performed for a game or two. You know, Havertz, I'm not his biggest fan, but he got himself a goal against Newcastle. So listen, all we can do is beat our opponents. That's all we can do, you know, and hope that Liverpool and City drop points. But we just need to do our job and make sure that we're applying pressure by picking up the 3 points. You know, going up against Sheffield United, we should be beating them, you know, and hopefully we can learn how to break down low blocks going into the second leg with Porto and then apply that to the league, because we already know with 6, 7, 8 games to go to the end of the season, teams will be playing low blocks, you know, whether they're trying to survive relegation, whether they're trying to get into European places. They're not going to make it easy for us. So we're going to need to learn how to break down low blocks consistently, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to, you know, they'll be happy with taking a point against Arsenal. You know, that for them, that will be, you know, they're more than happy to take that away, especially when we're blitzing teams like Newcastle, Burnley, West Ham, you know. So we're going to need to be able to break down low blocks. But I think there's enough there to try and to get over the line. But yeah, we just got to win our games. That's it. We just got to win our games and be able to win ugly, because this team really struggles to win ugly, in my opinion. You know, when the going gets tough, they start looking shaky. We start looking a little bit lost. You know, like I said, you know, when you got 6 or 7 games to the end of the season, you're going to come up against teams that are going to set up like that. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'll come back to you, John. It is. I mean, as a Newcastle fan and Mammoth Ross in the chat, it's got to be a little bit disappointing, isn't it? I thought you'd have kicked on a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah, I was better to kick on a little bit more, because at the end of the day, we got into a position where you could push on Champions League, get better players coming in as well. And it just didn't really materialise. well, we bought Sandro Tonali, 52 million quid, and then it's well documented, he got banned, so we got stung for that, yeah. Then we've got RB Barnes in. He's been injured for 4 months, yeah, but they weren't the early ones to be in out of action. I mean, you've got 12 players out, 13 players out for your injury, and you have to play the same team every single week for the next 6-7 weeks and that. And it just didn't help us because he looks knackered. That's why we've been losing games, because he looked knackered, yeah. But at the end of the day, right, I mean, personally, we knew he's been in the Champions League. You expect to get more players, but you haven't got a deep enough squad depth, Jez. And also, you still got players from the Championship. That is the thing. To be fair to them, they did well. Like Sean Longstaff, Jamal Lascelles, done well, you know. And it's so frustrated, you know what I mean? Because I want to get 5 or 6 players out so we can move on to the next step. But I think the squad depth is just difficult. You know what I mean? It's just not enough squad depth, and that needs to be looked on in the summer. But if we don't qualify for Europe this season, then okay, cool, I'd do that. But we just push on for the Champions League the following season if we can get quality players in. But with Eddie Howe, I'm Eddie in, right? But heard a lot of people saying he's divided opinions at the minute, and they thinking that he's taking the club as far as he could. I don't believe that, because Eddie Howe has done a fantastic job, Jez. I mean, look, came in, relegated, was second from bottom, kept us up, took us in the top 4 Champions League, and we just had one dodgy season. That's that. So hopefully next season we'll push on very, very quickly, because if we don't get to where we want to be, then I think Ed's going to be in trouble a little bit, yeah? But that's not by me, but by the owners. They're not here to finish mid-table. They're here to order be the best and get top 4 every season, or at least fighting for the title.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to come on to that in a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
Kenny, you know, the facts are out there, mate. You know, Liverpool 60, Man City 59, Arsenal 58, Villa 52. It's a battle. We can't afford to slip up. I mean,
not at all. Not. No, Carol, you finished. Sorry.
I mean, the fact is, we've got some important games at the weekend, which we're going to talk about in a minute. There's some crucial games there for Arsenal, right? For Arsenal, you know, we're Monday night. We're away at Sheffield United, but there is games Newcastle Wolves, Notts Forest Liverpool, right? Man City, Man United, crucial game, Luton Villa, right? So that's a very mix about situation. There is everybody's, you know, those teams that are in the mix. Yeah, I've mentioned top 4, top 5. They're big games, mate, because nobody, right, is going to want to drop points. Nobody can afford them. We are in a serious slug out now, Kenny.
150%. You know, a lot of people think, oh, how many points can Arsenal afford to drop? Why about just dropping no points? You know, with the closeness of the and the form of the other teams, you know, we've got to sleep with one eye open. We have to sleep with one eye open. If we win a game and the other two, you know, we're going to be put under pressure, and we've got to put our rivals under pressure as well. You know, I think all three teams got excellent chances of winning the league. I don't understand. I understand, you know, people think, oh, Liverpool, they're in transition. Liverpool always say they're in transition. But when Arsenal fans try to denigrate Liverpool and say it's only Man City, do your due diligence. You know, let's not forget who's been challenging City since 2019. It's Liverpool who've been their closest contenders, not Arsenal. So you've got to give Liverpool the respect that they deserve. Plus, they've won the Champions League since then. But, you know, I know Arsenal taking 4 points to Liverpool, and that's fantastic. But they're the ones who had the cushion before we narrowed the gap. So I've got a lot of respect for them. I think in terms of like all the other games, you know, Liverpool are going to get those guys back. They're playing well without those guys anyway and winning games anyway. Yeah, they still concede goals, but they're winning, you know, getting 3 or 4. So they are looking pretty good. Man City, you know, they're grinding it out, but they do find a way to win games. Yeah, and we're playing really well. We're pulverising teams. The situation is that the reason why I talk about our style of play. We might have to find a different way to play because there's going to be times where we're going to get knackered, where we're going to have to, think of another way to win games. Another thing, that was very interesting. You mentioned Villa. I think Brighton, Villa, Man United, and Spurs are going to be the kingmakers. I think results against them are going to dictate where the title's going to go. Obviously, people mention Wolves as well, being a difficult game, but I really do think those 4 teams are going to be like the kingmakers. Villa, who we got at home, Liverpool got Villa away, their last away game, and Man City still got Villa to play at home. Then you've got the Tottenham, Liverpool got them at home, and Tottenham got 2 home games against Man City and Arsenal. Massive games. You look at both teams I mentioned are in contention for the top 4. Then you look at Man United, they got Man City this weekend, plus they got 2 home games. That's Arsenal and Liverpool and Arsenal. So again, they're teams where I think, you know what, you don't know what Man United is going to tell. What we do know is that Man United always turn up against Arsenal, and Liverpool's like a derby for them as well. So those are the games where are going to be key to the time. And Brighton are just, I don't know what sort of Brighton are up. I think this season they've struggled with playing 2 games a week, when previous season they've only played 1. But they got Liverpool, they got to go to Anfield. Then they got, I believe they got Man City to come at their ground, and they got us. So those are massive games, hard games, all of them, where it's going to be. And then I haven't even mentioned the 6-pointers for Arsenal against Man City and Liverpool against Man City. So those are the games where whoever comes through all those games will win the league.
And the thing is, Kenny, I always hate those games where you're relying on other teams to do you a favour. But unfortunately, those 2 teams aren't going to do us any favours. Matty, I mean, I ask you the same thing, mate. It's so tight at the top. Yeah, it's any game coming up, mate, could be banana skin in the fact that we could slip away, or I don't like relying on other teams. As I just said there now, we are the only team in command of our own destiny. We can't rely on anybody else because they're not going to want us. Man City are going to fight all the way. Liverpool are going to fight all the way. Yeah. Villa, I'm not too sure they can do too much, but Spurs have got a game in hand. I'm not convinced about them at all, but we've got to go there and play there, and we know that is going to be one hell of a fight. Give me your view on this one, Matty, because we cannot afford to slip up. Look, we can't. My opinion of this is this, mate, and I'll get your opinion. We can't afford to drop a point anywhere. Now we've got to go. That's it. We've got to go all out. Both barrels, bang bang, move.
100%. I mean, we're going to have to be perfect. It's something that people, they don't want to face the facts with reality, that we are going to have to be perfect. If anything, we should have looked back at last season and saw we were not perfect and what that yielded. Look at the road in front of us. And I've been saying this since the years come in. The back end of this season was going to be the hardest. We've got a couple of different things that are playing the factor here. I'm still of the ilk that we did not do what we need to do in the transfer window to have us prepared for these type of situations. Newcastle, excuse me. Not to get you excited over there, John. I'm sorry. Liverpool. Liverpool You know, it's like Kenny said, they're finding ways to win cups and win games, in spite of their situation. Man City. I was working yesterday, so I missed all of the hype. I woke up this morning and I saw 5 goals. I said, "Oh, okay, well, that's official. They've cranked it up, so they got the engines revving, and they're back on the road." And then we're cranked up. But see, out of all 3 teams, Jez and Kenny and John, out of all 3 teams, we're probably the most likely to drop a point somewhere because we have yet. As far as I can see, remember, James, I said we need 7, 8, 9 game run. We need runs. We need runs. When we get that fixture, that Porto fixture in a couple weeks, and then we got that City fixture right behind it, right there is going to tell you all you need to know about what the rest of the season is going to be. You're going to have Porto, City right behind each other. Because I think Chelsea played today. So whatever, regardless of the fact, I have a feeling Chelsea's going to win that game. So we're probably going to have to deal with that game, which is probably going to drop right there with the top, right there somewhere along that line with that top. So there you go again. See, we've got a hard run in. And you've got to, right now, the manager is doing everything he's supposed to do. But what happens when it gets tight? This is where everything has to line up and fall perfectly. We have to be spotless. Draws do us no good. A draw does us absolutely no good. And I'll say this: City and Liverpool can drop points, and they'll probably pick right back up on pace. They'll probably be fine. It's us that when we drop points, we're in the worst situation. We're in the worst situation, and that's what hurts me. And this is why I'm not getting excited, because I know that somewhere we're going to drop points. Who, I don't know. But I just know that at some point we're going to do it. If we go perfect, man, I'll come on here, man. We'll be celebrating. We'll be dancing. We'll wine champagne. We'll be toasting it up, you know. But I have a feeling that brick wall is going to come back out behind Kenny at some point in the next month or so. That brick wall is coming back, because when the chips are down, and I don't know if y'all caught my fan cam, but I told Lee last week on my fan cam, it's all about mentality now. Mentally, are these players strong enough to say, you know what, let's go on a run? Are they mentally strong? You know, it's one thing to beat Newcastle. You know, we're doing what we're supposed to do. We're beating the teams we're supposed to beat. But when it's time to go away when the title is on the line. The old guard did it. They went to United, you know. They played tough games, but can these gentlemen do it when it's time to go away and the chips are down? When you have to go down there to Tottenham, you got to deal with Villa. You got to go out there to City, you know, and win. City, knowing that the title is on the line. We went there last year, but this is different this go round, because they're going to be prepared this go round. They're going to be extra prepared based off of what they've already seen. So, you know, we've got a lot of work to do here. And I'm afraid, I don't think we're going to go perfect. They've got to be perfect, but I just personally don't see it happening. We're going to drop points somewhere where I don't know, but I do have a feeling we're going to drop points, and it's going to get tight. But it's fascinating to still be in the discussion. But City, for me, this City game coming up, it's anything less is unacceptable in that game. We've got to get 3 points, because we cheered about it back in August. You know, everybody was on about the dinner plate. Everybody was satisfied. You know, then we got the deflation. Oh, you know, we've arrived. We've caught them. Now it's the real game coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're going to find out, is this a facade we're looking at, or will the real Arsenal decide to take hold? We're going to find out very soon.
Well, that's a very interesting point. I just want to talk about this. Last night, right? Haaland scores 5 goals against Luton Town. Players come back from injury, suddenly bangs in 5. A couple of games before that wasn't playing brilliantly. But a certain person on YouTube says, oh, we don't know, we don't need a striker like Haaland. Are you doing me a favour?
Who said that?
I'm not going to name the name, but you know who it is.
Oh,
I feel like I know who it is. I got a good feeling. I think I know exactly who it is.
Oh yeah.
We don't need a striker like Haaland. Suddenly bangs in 5 games last night against Luton Town. Right? All right. No disrespect to Luton. They are a crap team. They're crap, man. But John, who the hell in their right minds, right, would say we don't need a striker like Haaland?
Beats me, Jez. I mean, every top quality club like yourself, City, United, Liverpool, Spurs, and they need a top quality striker. With Arsenal, for me, I think you should go out and get Ivan Toney. I mean, it's not going to mention that. Ivan Toney, right, will be the striker you should be getting. Right, I don't think you should have got him in January if Arteta played it right. And that might have just got you a title. Yeah, you need a striker. We got Isak. He is a top quality striker when he is fit. Yeah, you've got to have a striker. I mean, Darwin Nunez is a centre forward, yeah, for Liverpool, and Jota, they got a striker, yeah. But you need a striker. Now, whoever said that you don't need a striker, I'm sorry, you need to give that heat a shake, because I'm telling you, right, what is he talking about, man? As an Arsenal fan, saying that you don't need a striker? Really? Come on, man. I mean, let's be real. You've got to have a top quality striker. I mean, scoring goals, a striker like Ivan Toney's class, 20 plus goals a season, will win you the title. It's as simple as that, yeah? You can't rely on Gabriel Jesus. I mean, he works hard, he runs a lot, but he's not going to get you 20 goals a season. Eddie Nketiah, he's not going to get you 20 goals a season. He won't even get you 10. Definitely not. Not good enough. Not good enough, yeah? But you need a striker, guys, in the summer. That should be your first target. Get a striker in, and then I think you win the title with every chance of getting the title. Simple as that. But strikers wins you games.
Fact. I mean, for what Man City, Kenny, man, come on. What Man City paid for Haaland, man? I mean, look at the goals he just ripped apart. Yeah.
You know what? You know why he scores a lot of goals? Because you know what? He's direct. He's direct. There's no nuances about him. He just loves scoring goals. You know, any goal you want, a tap in, you know, from a few yards, turning a shot with either feet, and he's good, great in the air. He's built as a striker, 6'4". He's exactly what they need. And you know, this is a time of the season where Man City began to run away with everything. You know, the league, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. It was this time of the season where, you know, he's looking fit and fresh. You know, and you know the rest of the league better watch out. He could make a difference in all those 3 competitions. I really do think so. It's, you know, what Man City have is a striker who doesn't compromise the way they play. And I think whoever the Arsenal guy was who mentioned that, and you know, if he was to express himself a bit better rather than be a jingoistic kind of play school imitation kind of fan, he may not have been ridiculed. What he should have said is that at the moment we can't get a striker that's going to fit into Arsenal's style of play, but hopefully at the end of the season we'll get an Ivan Toney. You can't just denigrate, you know, what's in front of you. You know, we're all Arsenal. Well, you're Newcastle. We're all Arsenal fans. 3 of us are all Arsenal fans. You know, you trying to, you know, say belittle rubbish Liverpool, rubbish Man United isn't going to make you a bigger Arsenal fan than me, than any Arsenal fan out there. You going around singing Arsenal songs ain't going to make you an Arsenal fan, bigger Arsenal fan than anyone else. I think some Arsenal fans, and I think some modern Arsenal fans, they think that if Arsenal are playing well, we're playing great. You know, we're the best team in the country. You know, we're the best team in London. We're the best team. We're the biggest club. You know, even if we don't win nothing, even if we finish 8th, it's all well and good seeing Arteta as the angel Gabriel. But come on, just be honest about it. We can all have a football debate right now and say all our teams are great, and then 10 minutes we can all go home now. But that's not debating football.
No.
We're not kids, we're grown men. You know, we are allowed to analyse our teams and think, you know what, at the moment this team ain't ready, but we need this, this, and that. Don't listen to these little kids who say, "Oh, these guys think they know more than Arteta when they've never managed a team in their life and they've never kicked the ball in their life." It's not about that. It's about us who've been watching football all our lives, going to our football matches all our lives, and actually knowing a lot about the game because we watch it and because we're interested in it. When you make comments like that, it tells me that's the kind of childish babish conversation. You know what I mean, and that's the whole situation. You know, regarding the Haaland thing. You know, at the moment, if you look at the makeup of squads, Man City squad is the best, followed by Liverpool's when everyone's fit, and then probably ours. But in terms of first 11s, I think that first 11s, Man City's, then probably ours because we've got a better defence, and then Liverpool's. But it's neck and neck it's quite close between us and Liverpool because Liverpool's strike force when everyone's fit and our defence neutralises it a bit. But Man City, yeah, they're still like the team into the squad depth is better than everyone else at the moment.
Absolutely. Look at their bench, man. Let's move it on. Last night, mate, John.
Yeah.
You beat Blackburn on the pens. You're in the FA Cup, unlike Arsenal. Once again, we went out early doors. Shocking, disgraceful. Bristol, I'm still angry about that now. I love the FA Cup. Kenny loves the FA Cup. It's in our blood. Matty, it's disgraceful. You're in it. You won it on the pens. Do you think you're going to progress too far in it? Do you think you can go on and win it?
If we don't take on Man City or Liverpool away from home, they've got every single chance. But I'd love to win it. It depends on the draw. If you can it's nice to get a home tie because you haven't had a home tie yet in this competition. But I would take on you got Coventry in there, Leicester in there. I'd take either of those two. I even take on Man United if they beat Forest or one of the two. So yeah. On last night's game, I thought we were poor. Absolutely shocking, to be fair. Blackburn were the better team. If you had taken those chances away, they would have won that game. Martin De Backer, again, outstanding. He was outstanding. Made a couple of fine saves. 2 fine saves in the first half. Then he had to save at the end when he saved it onto the post and that. Can't blame him for the goal conceded. That's down to Lascelles. I mean, for me, what was he doing? I mean, with the passes was just shocking. I mean, Bruno tried to play an ambitious pass. It didn't come off. I mean, Fabian Schär kept giving the ball away. And Sean Longstaff, for me, now, if you're going to win titles in the future, so cups and that, Sean Longstaff ain't the guy. I mean, I've tried to defend this guy, but people loves him, but I just don't rate him. Now, I think he needs to go. He's just so one-paced. And you know what? He missed a huge chance in added time, and he shot straight at the keeper. But at the end of the day, I mean, Joel is good to come back, but he looked knackered after 60 minutes, so he has to come off. I thought Anthony Gordon had a good game, and Isak didn't really do a lot, but he went off in the 60th minute or something like that. But just, we were lucky. I mean, Blackburn were very, very, very unlucky, not to get through. But we won on penalties. We got through the quarterfinals. But if we are going to win the FA Cup, it's a competition I love as well as you and Jez and Ken, sorry. We haven't won the FA Cup since 1955. Yeah. That is a long time for size in Newcastle United. Yeah, we need to win things now. Do you know what? We need to win trophies. Yeah, it's been a long damn time. Do you know what I mean? But some of our fan base, right? Some of them want to win trophies as well, but they're telling us we got to be patient. Yeah, I want to win something. The Carabao Cup, FA Cup. Let's win one of them, and then once we win that, it's going to be a party. Then we can move on to bigger things like chance for the title, go for cups, European stuff as well. But you know what, mate? Let's win the FA Cup here. Let's really defend properly, take our chances, score the goals, and we could go all the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's shocking. The club the fantastic fan base that you've got, and it is unbelievable fan base. I mean, the times I've been to St James's Park, it's quite unbelievable. It's something else, but I'll ask you this one, and I'm going to come to Matty and then Kenny on this one, right?
Yeah.
If Eddie Howe, right, doesn't get you the FA Cup this season, do you want to keep him or do you want to let him go?
I'm definitely going to keep him because I've always said I'm going to back the manager. I'm going to back Eddie, right? Because he's got credits in the bank, and for me, if it's my way, I say keep him for another season, right? Yes, he's been unlucky this season with injuries, etc. But next season, for me, we may not qualify for Europe. Definitely keep him 100%, yeah. And that's down to the owners, yeah. I don't want him sacked. I want to keep him as long as he can because I think he's one of the best young managers in the country. But we don't know what our owners are going to be thinking or the PR. We don't know at all. They're being really, really quiet. I've been on the fan side in a minute. But for me, I say Eddie Howe has made a few mistakes. I can't lie. But at the end of the day, he needs to have a plan B. My only gripe at Eddie, he needs to have a plan B because he plays a 4-3-3 every single week. And he needs to kind of change it up a bit. If he changes it up, right, and we get beat, then I won't be too worried because at least he's trying to change things, yeah. But we are so predictable in the formation, yeah, and he plays. And another thing of Eddie, he picks his favourites way too many times, like Dan Burn, Sean Longstaff, we get Amir on, yeah. If he keeps picking his favourites all the time, he can be a little bit of trouble. And I don't want that for Eddie Howe. I really don't. But for me, next season, I want to see players going out. I want to see new players coming in and then see how it goes. So I'm Eddie in all day long. But if he can get us in the top 4, cool. But if it doesn't, then I'll be worried for him.
Yeah, fair play, mate. Fair play. Matty, I'm going to come to this question, and I'm going to come to Kenny with this, right? This is a big question, man. I've asked John that question about Eddie Howe at the Newcastle, right? The question has to be asked with Arsenal, right? If we go out, I'm going to throw you a scenario here, right? Mm-hmm. If Arsenal go out, not against Porto, but whoever we draw in the next round, yeah, and then we don't win the Premier League, we come second. So we get through to the quarters, but we come second or third in the Premier League. What would you do with Mikel Arteta?
The sack. Nothing's changed. We just won a few games. Nothing's changed. The objective was to win trophies this year. And that's my stance on it. He put himself in these situations. It's up to him to coach himself out of it, Jez. The transfer window this summer, the winter transfer window, last winter's transfer window, a bench full of players that should be playing at MK Dons. I mean, you just look at the mess we're in. So if we don't win, then I'm going right back to him, and I'm going to combine him, the players, and the ownership. All of them getting it this summer. I mean, we're year 4. I sat there listening to John. John said they had. It tickled me because he said they hadn't won the title since FA Cup since what 90? You said 54.
1955.
55.
That's FA Cup. The first cup since 69.
You hear the passion in his voice when he talks about the FA Cup, Jez? You hear that? And this weekend, we all sitting in the group talking about the game on TV Sunday. You don't think I'm pissed off? We not playing this week. We winning games, but still, that's still an objective. Kenny, you saw what I put in the group last night. Trophies. That's the aim of the game, is trophies.
Fact.
There's no trophies for quarterfinals in the Champions League. There's no trophies for second place, third place. I've been looking for the trophy just like you have, Jez, for the second place for last year. I can't find it.
I've never seen the second place trophy yet.
Yeah. It's time out for this. We've got to win. He has to seal the deal. He has to finish the story. He's got to seal the deal this year. Because I'm not afraid time is going to start running out after a while. And we're talking, people talking like we're going to just roll right past Porto. Please. We've got to go uphill in that battle. And I keep telling people, just because we're at home, that doesn't excuse the fact that we'll get put out at home. We've been put out at home quite a bit under this manager in Europe. We've made it quite a habit of doing that up under this management. But yeah, Jez, if he doesn't get the job done, he has to go. We've got to at some point the line has to get drawn in the sand, because it's always maybe. It's always wait until next May. It's always, well, hold on, let's see. Well, he has to get this in. He's got the after Sunday. I don't hear anything about projects. I watch babies go out and beat a team full of billion-dollar players, and they're supposed to be in chaos with injuries. They're supposed to be this Liverpool. Oh man, they don't have everybody, and they still found a way to be successful and win a cup that we do not take serious. And that needs to be brought up going into next season too. You know, I'm getting tired of we having to sit here and watch these other teams. There's no reason that we should have not been in there playing Sunday, because I personally feel like we could have beat either one of those two teams Sunday. But we're throwing away these cups. You're watching FA Cup tonight. You know, everybody else seems to take it serious except us. We've always got other things on the docket. Well, if we're going to prioritize this fish that everybody wants to, this Champions League and this Premier League, then damn it, win it. That's why I am on it, Jill. Win it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I totally get it. I mean, Luke, James, I mean, you flipped here, man. I mean, you contact me privately and you go on about Arteta and that. I would give him this season the league and the next. That's the limit. Why? If he fails, mate, if he fucking fails, he's got to go.
Jez, if you hire a construction man to come in you hire a plumber to come in your house and fix the plumbing, are you gonna give him 10 times to get it right?
No. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm going to come to you, Kenny, in a minute, right? But at the end of the day, when you spend the amount of money he's spent, right? Yeah. And he hasn't achieved shit, then you have to be sacked. If you were in a working man's day job and you didn't achieve your targets, yeah, you'd be sacked. So why, what, Kenny, please make sense to this, please, because I don't get it.
This situation. I'm fed up with the back teeth of starting the season and saying let's give him till May. I'm sorry, no. He's hired to bring trophies. I'm sick and tired of reading tweets where the guy, look where Arsenal was previously to where we were before he took over. He had to clear out a lot of dead wood. He had to clear it, get everyone playing together. Emery lost his dressing room. And then he's now finally building something where we can compete with the best teams in the country and blah, blah, and all that blah. I'm sorry, just bore off. Bore off. It would have been 5 years at the club. He has to deliver trophies. If he can't deliver trophies, then it's time for him to go at the end of the season. I'm sorry, I'm not tolerating anymore. Okay? We're not spending all that money for him in terms of player acquisitions for him not to deliver a trophy. I'm sorry, but that's in his remit. We're a big club. Big club. I don't want to hear this nonsense from people. That's your opinion. Fine. I don't agree with it. I think that we shouldn't fall further behind. Yes, it'd be a bit unlucky if we don't win anything, we get a bit close. But close is not what we're here for. We're not here for close. It's another season without trophies. Yes, we'll get more Premier League prize money. Yes, we'll get a Champions League group stages, but that's it. That's it. There's no silverware. There's no glory. There's nothing. There's no parades. There's nothing. That's what he's here for. You know, he won. Everyone says Liverpool won the FA Cup, a lockdown FA Cup, well, lockdown league. Well, we won a lockdown FA Cup. But the fact is Liverpool kicked on and started to won trophies after that. What have we won? I'm sorry, I'm not having it. No scenario ever. Doesn't matter whether how many points finished behind in the league. He has to deliver. It's difficult. You know, we've got difficult games. We've got to, sleep one eye open in terms of matches. But that's the league. Can't deliver. Pack your bags and go. That's the way things are. That's what happens at clubs. It happens at Juventus. Happens at Bayern Munich. Happens at Real Madrid. Happens at Barcelona. It will happen at It will happen at Man City. It happens at every big club right across the world. If a manager doesn't deliver trophies, no matter how close they get replaced. Arsenal shouldn't be any different. And that's the thing. If Arsenal fans can't handle that, that's fine. But the fact is hopefully the Cronkies realise this and think, you know what, we got to hire someone else. Because if keeps his job without winning trophies, where's the pressure? He's under no pressure. He can carry on building something. He can carry on building something for the rest of his career. Who knows? Maybe in 5 years' time we'll be still having these conversations. Oh, he's building something, and we still haven't won nothing. It has to be this season.
He's got to go.
Kenny,
thing is, right? I mean, go on, carry on. I was going to say something as well.
No, John, please go on.
I was going to say, right? I mean, Arsenal 8 points clear last season, right? 8 points clear going to Liverpool, right? 2 up, and you didn't win that game. 2 up against West Ham, missed a penalty, 3-1 up, didn't win that game. 2-0 down against Southampton, right? Didn't win that game, 3-6. Yeah, you left yourself wide open, right? For me, if I was an Arsenal fan, guys, I'll be absolutely peed off. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Arteta, let's be real. He should have been sacked at the end of that season. I'm not going to lie, guys. And I hope that people in the chat agree with us. Should have been sacked because that was your biggest chance today to win the title, yeah? And Mikel messed it up, yeah? I agree with Kenny Ken. He's got to win the title this season because if he doesn't and he doesn't get sacked, right? When is he ever going to get sacked? Because to me, again, like Kenny said, there's no pressure whatsoever. No pressure. Do you know what I mean? That means you're going to carry it on and carry it on and carry it on. Look good on Mikel. You carry on doing a good job. You're a project manager. Whoosh. You know what I mean? Now, if it happened at my club, right, Newcastle, we was 8 points clear, right? Newcastle fans going to say, no, John, we haven't bottled it. We haven't bottled it. They will accept second place, yeah. For me, if it was 8 points clear, we bottled the league. It was 12 points clear back in 1996. We bottled the league. We bottled it because Fergie got into Keegan's head. And Keegan rattled, yeah? I love Kevin, by the way. But we bottled the title. It's as simple as that, yeah? And if you get that many points ahead and you don't win that title, there's a serious problem there. Could it be down to the manager? Could it be down to the players? For me, I think it's down to the manager. It's as simple as that. I hope, right, if he doesn't get you a title this season, sack him and get an elite manager in there. I mean, Diego Simeone, right? I don't think he speaks English. I don't think he'll come. That should be your first choice. Simple as that. Get in Diego Simeone, your first choice.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, John, it's so grating.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink with a couple of Newcastle fans, man, and their pain. I've seen them over the years with Newcastle when you got relegated, then you came back, and then you moved on, and it's all big hopes with the big money that you've got in your club now. But I'm sorry, I have to say that enough is enough with Arteta. If he fails, he's got to fuck off, right? I'm sorry I have to put it in those terms, but enough is enough. Yeah, it went down the road when we had Arsene Wenger, who was a far levels above manager than this guy. But why, Kenny? I'm going to come back. No, Matty, I want to ask you, Matty. I want to ask you this one, right? I want to ask you, right? Why would we want to continually associate ourselves with a failing manager? Now, I'm not saying he's failed this season, but if he does fail, then he's got to F off. He's got to go, man. I'm sorry. I've been supporting this club for 54 bloody years, right? And this is the worst shit I've seen in years. Yeah? I've never gone 20 years and not seen us win a major league title. No, I'm sorry. I can't sit here and accept bullshit because the management of Arsenal Football Club, if they want to accept failure, then that is a sad indictment of what we've got in this football club right now.
You know, we're gonna find out in a matter of few months here what's gonna happen. And I'm telling you this: if they end up keeping him here, I'm going straight after. I'm going. But either way, I'm going after the management this summer, because then that means that, like you said, they accept failure. I mean, his European and cup run record is enough for him to get the sack. In all honesty, you look at what we've gotten put out in these cups. You look at the 8th, 2 5th place finishes, bottling the league last year. I mean, that's a resume of disaster. And if we end up not doing anything this year, after sacrificing 2 opportunities to win trophies, 3, technically 3, then that has to be a discussion. It has to be a discussion about what is his direction? Where are we going? Because we've got all this so-called talent, this so-called project that, you remember, they were kids when we got them. They're young grown men now. Most of them are grown men. And then you look up, that's time's wasted. They've gone. Most of them guys be moved on after. They're going to start getting frustrated. And now we're going to have back to square one. And I ask the question, gentlemen, if that's the case, then why don't we just keep Mansour Wenger? Because, because this is the same thing we were raising hell for him to get sent home for. And then we're back doing the same old thing. You know, we're at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads in this football club where we have to have these discussions. Is it time to move this manager on if he does not to deliver on silverware? Yes. There's no other question. And I know there's some of the fan base that's going to be saying, well, he's got us competing. Competing and championships are 2 different things. Competing means you're around. That's okay. But when you've spent almost $1 billion, I expect a little bit more. I expect the optimum, not optimum, not being optimistic. I want the top of the top, the creme de la creme. And this manager, I'll say it again, he screwed it up this summer. He screwed it up last winter. He screwed it up this winter. He's got to fix this, because if he does not win a title, all of that is going to fall right back on his shoulders. And let's not forget, let's not play crazy, because this manager came out himself in August and said he thought about walking away. He thought about that. And that's a marked man. When a manager comes out and says that, he knows that the pressure's on him. Look at him on the sideline. Look at him in the Porto game. Look at him in games where we had trouble this year. How uncomfortable he looks. He's sweating under the armpits, unshaven. He's not looking good. He knows what it is. He knows he's got to deliver this year, Jez. This is it. This is the battle at Wounded Knee. He's got to deliver. And if he doesn't deliver, as far as I'm concerned, go ahead and turn in your paperwork. We've got quite a few. For everybody who says there's no managers out there, we've got quite a few qualified managers that are out there that we can go take a look at.
Kenny, great points, Matty. Great points. You spoke absolute facts there. Kenny, you know, we've been watching this club for a long time. Yeah. And if this all goes tits up, right, at this end of the season, I'm sorry, mate. You know, respect for what this bullshit is that he's changed the philosophy. It's all a family. We bought a dog, blah, 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 and all this bullshit, man. Sorry, that's not what I want to see. I'm a fan of the club. You're a match going fan. I'm not anymore, but you do, and I have big respect. You know, you spend thousands of pounds a year, right? It's not fair to accept this bullshit anymore. If this guy cocks it again, right? If he cocks it again, then he's got to go.
150% he's got to go, because simple reason is that, you know, what's the point? One of the reasons why fans protested so much, you know, towards the end of Arsene Wenger's reign, is because we didn't want to be that club where managers become comfortable without, like delivering success. We wanted to compete for trophies on a regular basis, but we wanted success as well. If we have a manager like Arteta who doesn't deliver trophies, but is still building something, then we've wasted our time with all those protests. We might as well kept Wenger. Might as just let him have his funeral here at Arsenal. What's the point? You know, it's no good. It's no good. Having a manager that balances the financial sheets. It's not good having a manager that that everyone likes. You know, I don't want to be that kind of club. You know, that Liverpool threatened to be under Klopp before he started winning trophies, where they were competing, winning games, getting to European Cup finals, like finishing third or fourth. The fact is, he won the Champions League, and then they won the league, and then he's bringing trophies. His belief now is that regardless of whether Liverpool have kids or not, regardless of whether his team's been written off by Liverpool fans within the media, he's thinking, no, we're going to go for everything. I'm going to get you there. I'm going to guide you, and I'm going to, along with the cop and him, they're going to drag him towards silverware. And that is exactly what he's required to do. I mean, thing makes me laugh about Arsenal fans is that they slag off Liverpool and say pity City, but they want to be Liverpool. You know, they got an anthem I never liked. Yeah, and a song about North London. Yeah, but they slag Liverpool off because they sing Walk Alone. What's the difference? You know what I mean? The fact is, Mick Arteta's remit now he's got all the players at his disposal. Now he's got the fact that he's got players who we think are going to be world class, and we're playing the football we desire. He has to have it. This has to equate to success. It has to. There's nothing else is acceptable. People may not like it, what I'm saying, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to stop going if we don't win, but I'm not going to stop protesting against his continued tenure if he's not delivering trophies. I will use any platform to have me, including my own, to ask for him to be replaced. That's my right as a fan. Simple as. And I think eventually, I said to my brother on Saturday, we had a long discussion. I said to him, there's going to be a time, eventually, not now, but eventually, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, if he's still here, people are going to ask the same questions that I've been posing this year, this year before. Where's the trophies? They're going to ask for it. They are going to notice it.
Yeah.
They're not going to always think, well, yeah, he's building something. They're going to come to a situation, well, sorry, he's going to go. You know, the problem about them comes to that conclusion. That's more years without trophies at this club.
Yeah, fact. I'm going to ask, John. I'm going to go to Matty. I'm going to come to you then, Kenny, and then we'll wrap this up, right? AMC Max is putting a good question here. Unpopular opinion. I think it's actually easier to win the UCL this year than the EPL. I can't agree with that because I just don't think we're good enough in Europe, personally. John, what do you think, man?
I'll agree with you, man. Hardest competitions to win. You've got some quality teams in there. You've got City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, when they get their act together. Inter are coming strong as well. Liverpool's not in it. They would have been close. But for me, I've got to agree with you, Jez, that I think the Premier League is the easier than winning the Champions League to me. But the trouble is, though, Man City just keeps winning every single season. That's the thing. Hopefully it'll be Arsenal for you guys one day, because I think you deserve it. But if this FFP didn't come into play, then we could spend money, but we can't spend money because of the FFP.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, mate. That's a good point. But Matty, unpopular opinion, I think it's easier to win the UCL than the EPL.
Just about every other team in this Champions League can probably put us out. I want people to understand. Most of these teams, I'll use Porto. We'll use Porto as an example. Kenny, Jez, y'all remember this. We played Porto plenty of times back when Wenger was here. We went out of the Champions League, and guess who we came right back to see? Porto still there. These teams live in the Champions League. They've won it twice. They have a pedigree that we just don't have when it comes to winning. These teams make it a priority to win the Champions League. Even the Minnows, the Copenhagen's of the world, they went after City. They didn't just roll over. They gave it a shot. They gave it a try. Until Arsenal makes it a priority. I mean, a flat point play. This is the objective. I mean, we come out. It's not. We're going to see how it's coming. No, our objective is this year to win the Champions League. Blah blah blah. Then we're going to just wag the dog. We'll probably skate by. We'll go to the knockout phase and just rinse and repeat what we saw in the Wenger. I still have. We're coming up on 20 years. We're 2 years. I think we're 2 years away from 20 years ago. Was the last time we were in the final.
Yeah.
And we hadn't sniffed it. Hadn't sniffed it. And it's an indictment for a club Arsenal's size to not have that trophy sitting in the cabinet. But I'll tell you this. If we would have went out and did what we were supposed to do in the summer transfer window, I keep going back to that. Doing what we're supposed to do, bringing in the players that we needed, we could very well compete in it. But as of right now, based off, I'm telling you now, based off of what I saw last week, we could beat Porto, and then we draw Real Madrid, and then Bayern Munich. And you look at the Inters, you look at the Atleti. I told Lee the other day, I said people just forgot about Lazio. Lazio sitting out there, Dortmund, PSG. I mean, no, there's no way. There's no way. No way we're gonna beat those teams. There's no way. That's a fool's errand.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny, what do you think on that, man? I mean,
not this team. Not this team. This team isn't built to win the Champions League. I think people looking at the participation of teams like Napoli still winning it, in Atletico Madrid, Internazionale, and they're looking at Bayern Munich's inconsistency in Germany. They think more they can be beatable. They're buying into the hype that is English TV. Oh, Arsenal are the third best team in the Champions League. I think they're the third favourites. Just because Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville may believe it, doesn't mean they're right. You go to Portugal, we're not the third favourites. If according to Portuguese people, we're certainly not the third favourites in Germany. We big up Arsenal, we big up our teams too much, but this Arsenal side is built for the Premier League. Against teams that are the best teams in Europe at the moment, we're not going to do nothing. I have Bayern Munich, if they get their shit together, beating us.
Yeah,
because they got everything. They got the team. as long as you know, Upamecano doesn't have a like a Laurel Hardy moment, I think they'll be fine because their midfield and their strike force will just murder us, especially their wingers. And then you've got Man City, who've now finally been able to translate their league form into Europe, and they can actually play the European style comfortably now because of what they have, because of the experience. And then you've got Real Madrid; they'll murder us. Real Madrid will murder us home and away. Simple.
Kenny, they'll beat us. They'll beat us. They'll beat us 1-0 both legs.
Exactly. And everyone just assumes Real Madrid are an attacking team. No, they keep the ball a lot better than a lot of teams in Europe. Plus, they can defend. People just assume they can't defend. They can defend. So when you listen to these guys, maybe in about a year's or couple of years' time, when we're playing in Europe a lot longer, and we actually get players who are suited to European style football, maybe I'll change my mind. But this season, everything's towards the league. The European Cup would be a bonus. Everyone's just thinking Arsenal third favourites was one reason, because of finals at Wembley. That's why Arsenal are going to win it, because of finals at Wembley, not because we're a great side, because of finals at Wembley. You know what I mean? That's the reason I've heard.
Got to get there first, mate. Got to get there first.
Exactly.
But fact is, going to wrap it up, guys. Been a great chat tonight with Matty, John, and Kenny. John, thanks for coming back on, mate. Always a pleasure. You always talk the facts, mate. Please shout your channel out and where we can find you, your socials and everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Samsung, Jez, Kenny Ken, and of course my guy Matty as well, the big man. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Insta, and Facebook on John Sinclair TV. You can find us on there. I've had 100 new subscribers yesterday. In 2 days, actually, I've done an Arsenal vlog as well, which I really enjoyed. I've got 26,000 viewers now, believe it or not, which is fantastic. Didn't expect it, but there you go. So I'll do previews, reviews, matchday vlogs, breaking news, and the collab show, and the Real Talk podcast show as well. And if you find us on John Sinclair TV, and it's free. Just hit the subscribe button, guys.
Thank you, man, for coming on. Always great to talk to you. It's I love talking to other fan channels, and it's great to have you on, fella.
Thank you,
Matty, my partner in crime on Lee's. How you doing, fella? And Matty, please shout yourself out, please.
Jez, thank you again, brother. I was glad you reached out to me, man. I say let's hook. Anytime you reach out, I try to make it happen, man. So I was glad to be here, man. Kenny, good to see you, brother. As always, my friend.
As well.
Yep. I went with y'all on Monday, but of course, got to pay the bills. You can find me here on YouTube, Southern Gunner, and this coming Saturday afternoon, I will be on with Tony Clark Gunner on his channel. We'll be talking about the preparation for the next couple of games, so we'll be discussing that.
Fantastic, man. Thank you. And I love when we do our fan cams, player ratings. The player rating shows are all legend. And we've got the four of us together, Lee, you, Kenny, me, it's great fun, great debate. It's a good laugh. Kenny, mate, shout out your Instagram.
Well, mine says Kenny Kent 1972, and I second what you said, because obviously we've got Sheffield this Monday, so that's the next cab after rank, and then obviously I'll be at the game against Brentford, and then we've got Porto. If Chelsea beat Leeds, we'll have a free weekend the weekend after that. But I say it again, loads of football we played. It's going to be really great. Loads of things to look forward to. This is the turn of the year where we'll learn a lot about the managers and players.
Yes. Yeah. Facts. And some interesting games tonight. We ran out of time, unfortunately, to talk about them, but there you go. That's how it goes. But smash the like, smash the subs if you're new, smash the subs to Matty's channel, and smash them up big time to John Sinclair's channel, and go and watch Kenny because he does some great stuff on Instagram. And we're out of here, people. And everybody take care and enjoy the football tonight. And let's look forward to the football at the weekend. And come on, you Gunners.
Come on, Arsenal.